If you've ever thought about visiting Hawaii, you may have seen people on social media urging you not to come.
I've gone to Hawaii. Locals are literally like, please don't come.
Stay the fuck off of Hawaii.
If Hawaiians tell us not to come to their home, why do some of you still keep going?
Whenever I mention being from Hawaii to people on the mainland, one of the first questions I get is it okay to visit? I was born and raised on the island of Oahu, but I'm not native Hawaiian, meaning I don't have any Hawaiian blood. And answering that question isn't easy because there's a wide range of opinions. There are native Hawaiians who don't want visitors, but at the same time, many locals depend on tourism to survive. And honestly, growing up, I never saw a problem in people visiting, but as I get older, start to travel more and learn to appreciate where I come from, I started digging deep into all the problems within my home state. In this video, I want to break down why this is such a controversial topic by exploring Hawaii's history, the housing crisis, and the impact of overtourism. Hawaii wasn't always part of the United States. It was a sovereign kingdom with its own language, culture, and monarchy. In 1893, the U.S. illegally overthrew the Kingdom of Hawaii. Queen Liliuokalani, the last reigning monarch, was forced to surrender under pressure from armed U.S. troops and American sugar plantation owners. But this wasn't just a political takeover. It was cultural erasure. Hawaiian language was banned in schools, and the islands were branded as a tropical paradise for American tourism. In 1993, President Clinton signed the Apology Resolution to Hawaiians for the U.S. role in the overthrow. And every year, on January 17th, the Onipa'a Peace March is held, where people gather and march to Iolani Palace to commemorate this illegal overthrow. It's January 17th, 2025, and today marks the 132nd year since the illegal overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy. In this ceremony, you see that natives are still fighting to defend Hawaii.
The biggest havoc that happened to our people collectively.
We are not Americans. We will die as Hawaiians. We will never be Americans. Let that resonate. Keep on saying that loud and clear. That red, white, and blue does not represent us.
Keeping resources flowing in our ohana and our communities is what will keep Hawaiians in Hawaii.
What does aloha aina mean? Love for the land, good. Aloha aina is about standing with your people every single day, no matter what the issue is. Whether there's a housing crisis, whether our people need food, when there's fires, when our lahui needs you, we show up.
Speakers discuss all the different issues Hawaiians have had to face since the U.S. takeover, including the disrespect of sacred sites like Mauna Kea, the water shortage, the military's abuse of the environment and its people, and the housing crisis. Every time I return home to Oahu, I see more luxury towers going up. A sign that life here is continually getting more expensive. What were once small shopping centers and homes are now high-rise condos that cost millions and are often owned as just vacation homes by the wealthy. You walk through the streets of Ward and Ala Moana and it's starting to look a little like Miami, which is kind of scary. Hawaii was ranked the highest cost of living in the US in 2024. Everything is imported, so the cost of goods and groceries remain very high. Yet wages for jobs are lower than what you'll find on the mainland. With the lack of affordable housing, people are forced to leave Hawaii entirely. And there are now more native Hawaiians living on the mainland than in Hawaii. But for some, leaving just isn't an option. Hawaiians have a deep connection to the land, and they'd rather be on the streets than leave. The Department of Hawaiian Homelands has been working to give Native Hawaiians land, but there are still 29,000 people on the wait list. This is why locals get angry when people romanticize moving to Hawaii. It's when wealthy newcomers drive up housing costs and push locals out. And locals aren't just Native Hawaiians. Hawaii is home to many ethnic groups who have lived here for generations. But some Hawaiians are working towards independence. Places like Pu'uhonua o Waimanalo aim to live self-sufficiently outside of U.S. systems and is preserving the Hawaiian language and way of life. Once you enter these gates, you're now in what they say is the nation of Hawaii. Alright, so right here is the entrance, and usually this gate is closed. I wanted to learn more about the nation of Hawaii, so I signed up for a work day on the land with Sustainable Coastsigns, a nonprofit organization.
Taking a culture, taking a language, removing people off land, destroying the Ahupua'a system. What you guys are doing today is bringing that back and letting the community be in charge of that. Right? This place was designed by many hands. It's going to take many hands to restore it.
The reason why we're here is for sovereignty. The reason why we're connecting though is for the Aina, and it's for each other. You know, because Ahupua'a is not just a physical system, it's a mindset. It's a system of accountability that we need to coexist together. When we started these Aina days, you know, a year and a half ago, there was about 12 people. But look how much there is. Same thing when my uncle started this movement 30 years ago down at Makapu'u. It was just a few houseless people he was trying to help protect. Today we have a land base where we gather thousands to remember who we are as a people and to remember our kuleana back to this land. And you don't need to be Hawaiian to have kuleana here. You live here, you have kuleana to Hawaii. It's a reciprocal thing. Because when you give back to Hawaii, Hawaii will give back to you.
After the speech from the leaders of the community, we began working and talking stories, but then about 2 hours in, we heard some noise.
Some people like to make noise, the rest of us will move rocks.
So I couldn't capture this all well because honestly I was a little scared and it was hard to understand exactly what was being said. So they have these workday events every month. This is the first time I went, but apparently this has never happened before. It's my first event going and this happened. There are obviously a mixture of people there. I'm not Native Hawaiian. There's a bunch of haole people. We're passing the rocks and all of a sudden this woman comes on this like megaphone and is like kind of bashing on, there's like little children that is like playing in the ponds and they're haole. And there's just like obviously a bunch of non-Hawaiians there and basically being like, you guys should not be here, you guys are Americans, like all this kind of like really uncomfortable stuff. And I think everyone was kind of like thrown back by it, but it is like, I guess, the reality of the tensions that is still going on even within Hawaiians. The land has been taking people off the streets, taking Hawaiians off the streets, and you know, there's obviously a wide range of opinions on everything, and there's so much generational trauma. People react in different ways to how to go about solving this issue. Afterwards, everyone was kind of talking about how those people were just brought on, you know, they are not the people that founded this whole area.
I completely understand a legal claim to a royal patent title. I support that in every single way possible. But that movement, when you do some due diligence, is far from. And if you look at their history, they've been doing this multiple times all over the place.
What you witness today is the continuation of our generational trauma. And it comes out in every fucked up way and every beautiful, glorious way. And recognize that the hurt and the pain that they feel is still working through their beings, and they haven't figured it out yet. And frankly, neither have I. But if we don't come from that place of aloha that acknowledges each other, we as a species ain't gonna make it.
We get people that believe in the American way of life. We got to battle with them. Then we got to battle with the guys that agree independence is the right way. And we get all these skirmishes. But you got to know that Anybody that came on this land to stay built their lives up better because they had no overhead. Really, just come in over here and if you like live over here, you gotta put up your own house. I'm pretty thankful that you guys are aware of this now, so just be conscious that it may happen any place. Because to experience something like this, that yelling and all that, to me that was good. So you guys can see what we gotta go through, as Hawaiians, amongst ourselves.
This was the first time in my life I've witnessed anti-American sentiment firsthand like that, with yelling, but it was so understandable knowing the history. But of course, not all Hawaiians are this extreme, and everyone has their own opinions. Even though some native Hawaiians strive to be self-sufficient, tourism remains the backbone of Hawaii's current economy. It is such a huge industry, and it gives many locals their jobs. But over-tourism does strain the land and the environment. Beaches get overcrowded, coral reefs are dying, trash gets left behind, wildlife and sacred sites are constantly disrespected. Climate change is already happening, and over-tourism does facilitate the damage more. And as more people visit, more people seem to want to move. And of course, this causes people to get priced out, which causes the anti-tourism sentiment. But most people in Hawaii today aren't Hawaiian by blood. While there's only a small number of people that actively dislike tourists, irresponsible tourism does have real negative impacts to Hawaii. If you do choose to visit Hawaii, please do so responsibly. Visit during the off-season, stay in hotels instead of Airbnbs or short-term rentals, respect the locals, the land, and the culture, learn the history of the places that you travel to, and give back to the community in meaningful ways. I learned a lot through making this film, and I want to continue sharing stories tied to places and its people, so let me know where I should go next. And if you learned something, feel free to share the video or just like and comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I first got this idea about 2 years ago when I went to the first NYPL Peace March, and it really sparked this whole other side to Hawaii for me. I think especially with the rise of social media and even being kind of in this travel space, I feel like there needs to be an equal amount of, content that is raising awareness for these things and raising awareness of people and the locals in these places. That's something that I want to kind of explore when I travel as well, get more of the local perspective on everything. And yeah, I thought might as well start in my hometown, and I hope to do this again soon.